Here we go. Let's start with Dalid Amid Beis, the two dots Nachamol. One more time, we have our sukkah that is 10 to... Don't tell him like you don't eat sushi, the one night you come.
I don't eat sushi.
Oh my gosh.
My wife not to make this up.
The one night he comes.
From
where?
What did you just say?
From where?
There's basically a hamburger cooked in.
I'm going to go weiter.
Pizza.
I don't know what he just said.
A rice.
Where'd you get it?
Isn't a rice?
Homemade.
Isn't a rice?
It's a new thing now.
It's an old thing.
No.
It goes back to the times of the Mabel.
The food.
Times of the Mabel, yeah, a rice. Weiter, you'll explain to me
I
later.
think it's Spanish or something.
It's getting noch besser. It's not getting any better. Dalid Amid Beis. I don't know what's going on here, boys.
Starting recording now.
Yeah. Whoever's listening wants to know what just
Anybody on?
what just happened. No, Baruch Hashem.
Like you started a share once. It's like adults only. Just letting you know, it's an adults only share.
I don't know what just happened there. V'she'ena gevaya asara tefachim. Zok the heilige Gemara. V'she'ena gevaya asara tefachim. Again, Daled Amid Beis. Let's go. Any questions? Let's get it clear. Minolan asked the Gemara. Itmar. Rav Chanina, Rav Yechanan, Rav Chaviva. Kama. Masnu b'kul seder moadik. No, incorrect. Masnu, they all taught. B'kul seder moadik. The whole seder moadik when you have this pair. Oh, Rav Dav is here. Chalufi, Rav Yechanan, Maili, Rav Yeina's son. Kama. What do they teach? Arayin tisha v'kapoyres tefach. Arayin tisha, amma and a half, an amma of 6 tefachim, 6.5. 6 times 1.5 is 9, and the kapoyres is tefach. Ha'areka na'asara shalom Rav Yossi. We're in the middle of a Chazarah, Daled Amid Beis, 2 lines from the bottom. Uksiv. Hashem says, I'll make myself known there with Barati Yitzcham El Kapoyres. And I'm going to talk to you from the top of the Kapoyres, top of Ham and Aleph. V'tanya, we learned in a rice here of Yossi, Aimer. Be'elam the Yardu Shechina L'matavlo, the Moshe V'Eliolim Aroim. So the 10 Tfachim was, the partition moment was, the point of Mechitza was the point that Hashem did not go lower, Moshe Rabbeinu did not go higher. Therefore, says the Gemara that shows us that is the point. That is called a Mechitza. 10 Tfachim. Says the Gemara, Shenemar Hashemayim Shem LaHashem V'Aretz Halanei Adam. The heavens are for Hashem, and the earth is for man. Continues the Gemara. So that's the Raya. That's the Raya again. Raya number 1. Why is it 10 Tfachim? From the Aroin. What do we see on the Aroin? Hashem didn't go below 10. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't go above 10. Must be that 10 is the size of a Mechitza. Now, we just get parenthetically asks the Gemara, really, did Moshe not go above? Did Hashem not go below? Yeah, or Rishus. Some say Rishus, some say Mechitza. Nuance. But yes, I agree with you. Says the Gemara, did the Shechina really not go below 10 Tfachim? But the Pasuk says, Hashem went down onto Har Sinai. Answers the Gemara. But the Pasuk says, and he stood on that day, El Har Zeisim, asks the Gemara of Moshe Rabbeinu Erev Tov. And Moshe Rabbeinu did not go, or Eliyahu did not go above. Voksiv. But the Pasuk says, Moshe Elohim, Moshe Rabbeinu went up to God. He's sitting like a homeless person. Come, sit like a mensch. What, we throw you in the corner? Obviously, no problem. Then we'll take it. No problem. Says the Gemara, Moshe Elohim, answers the Gemara, Lamata Mesar. Voksiv Eliyahu b'Sara Hashemayim Lamata Mesar. Voksiv Machas b'nei Kisei Parsav Alav Ananu. V'Amar Rav Tanachim Lami Jabir Shakayim Yiziv Shechina So V'Anu Alav, and Hashem engulfed Moshe Rabbeinu Lamata Mesar. Mikol Makiv, says the Gemara, everything is good, but there's one problem. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu is holding on Me'achas b'nei Kisei, and the Kisei HaKavod we think is certainly Lamala Me'asara. Answers the Gemara, guess what? We have a flying Kisei HaKavod. Ksev Ishtar Rububei Ishtar Vev Le Kisei Ad Asara v'Naketz Bay. The Kisei HaKavod came all the way down, and Moshe Rabbeinu grabbed hold of it. So those are all, I don't know, what are that, 7-8 questions about Moshe going up, Hashem coming down. The Gemara sticks to his gun. So we have Makar number 1 from the Aroin, Am and a half times 6, 9 Tfachim plus 1 of the Kapoyres. Shem doesn't go below 10. Moshe and Eliyahu don't go above 10. Raya that a rishus is 10 tefachim. Raya that a sukkah needs to be at least 10 tefachim. Are we clear? Part A.
Yes.
Clear. Bishlama says the Gemara Arlen Tisha. The fact that the Arlen is Tisha and the Chsev also Arlen is Shita Vam Sev Chetzi Arka Vam Chetzi Rachvai Vam Chetzi Kamasai, and of course an Amma 6 tefachim, which will be questioned at the end of this year on the Ham and base. But right now we take them for granted. Elakapa is tefach. Minal and Rabbi Nali Kaparis was a tefach. Deitani Rabbi Chanina Rav Chanina taught. All the kelim that Moshe Rabbeinu made, Hashem gave him length, width, and height. But by the kapayres, midas arka, midas rachva, not na, midas kamasalaina na. So if we don't have the height of the kapayres, say ulamami pachashav the kelim, 3 lines from the wide lines. Go learn from the smalls of the kelim. Shenemar v'zizalei miskeres tefach. It says by the shulchan, make a miskeres, make a border around it. Savif mal halon tefach, just like by the shulchan, we know that the miskeres was the tefach. Avkan tefach. So that's how we know that the kapayres was the tefach. Ask the Gemara, why are you learning from the Misgares? Gufay learn from the Kelim themselves, which of course are larger than a Tefach. Answers the Gemara, time number 1, whenever we have a choice of large or small, Tafasta Merubalo Tafasta, Tafasta Muat Tafasta. Says the Gemara, okay, you want to go small? First wide line, Vinel meets tzitz, why don't we learn out from the tzitz the Tanya? How large was the tzitz? Time we come in, Tas was a cold and plate shell Zavra, its boys, Mukumeos and Lizen. And it went from year to year. There were 2 lines on the tits. It was 1 line. But how wide was the tits? It was 2 tefachim. So asks the Gemara, maybe the kapayres should be 2 fingers. Thank you. The kapayres, if the tits was 2 tefachim, Shem Yirachem, I don't know what that would happen. It would be his whole face. Says the Gemara, so why don't we learn from the tzitz that the thickness of the kapayres is 2 fingers? Done in kli, mikli, done in kli. May takshet. The tzitz was a takshet. Says Gemara, okay, v'neil mizer. Let's learn from the zer, the crown that surrounded 3 kelim, the mizbech, the shulchan, and the aroin. Damar mar zer was a mashahu. The zer was the crown, the lattice work that was on the miskeres, that was around the aroin, that was around the mizbech. So why don't we learn out from there that the kapayres maybe was a mashu? Says the Gemara, the zer wasn't a kli. Done in kli, make kli. We want to learn how the kapayres, which is a kli, from the miskeres, which is a kli. Vein done in kli, mehachsher kli. So ask the Gemara, 1 second, the miskeres is a kli? I just said it is. Says Gemara, who told you? Iyachi miskeres na mehachsher klihu. We think that what was the miskeres? Again, let's visualize the picture. The picture was the miskeres was that border around the shulchan. Seemingly, it also does a decoration. Answers the Gemara, miskartoi lemata haisa. We're going according to the man. The Amar, the miskeres was underneath the table of the shulchan, which made it an intrinsic kli bifnei atzmai, and therefore we have makar number 1. So we pause right here, and after an Amar of Gemara, we have the first makar that a sukkah has to be 10 tefachim tall, is from the aroin. Where do we see the aroin? 10 tefachim. How 10 tefachim? 9 plus 1. How do we know 9? 1.5 times 6. How do we know 1? Kapayres. We know kapayres from miskeres. We know miskeres from that it was underneath the shulchan, therefore that a din of a kli bifnei atzmai. Says the Gemara, but that point is a debate. But what if you're going to tell me Lamantar Miskaris Lamaila? So our opinion that all the Miskaris was above the area that held the top of the Shulchan, which made the Miskaris merely decorational. So now we're back to our problem. If the Miskaris was nearly decorational, learn from the Zer, which was also decorational. Ma'ikal Meimar, Hai Hechsher Klihu, says the Gemara, no. 3 lines to the bottom. Learn out from something that the Torah lists. The Torah says how thick the miskeres is. And don't ask from the tzitz and the zer. So if I were to ask you 2 reasons why we learn from the miskeres, either because it was the ikar hakli, come ready, sit there. Either because it was there, but then you can't reach the food. You're a sushi guy. Not so much. Okay, we'll pass it over. Either because it was the ikar akli, because it was lamata from the top of the shulchan. That's 1. Or number 2, the reason is because the Torah wrote explicitly the thickness of the miskeres. So that's really makar number 1 for your sukkah 10 tefachim. We'll call it makar 1a and makar 1b. Again, misgeres, either lemato or even if it was lemaila, at least the Torah wrote it explicitly. Klar?
Very clear.
Klar. Anyone speak now? Not forever, LDPs. You could always speak later. But any questions? What type of sushi do you want? Let you breathe first. Okay, we'll give him sushi in a minute. Okay. Yes. It's the thickness of the tits, the width of it. It's right.
We're trying to learn kemasa.
Well, the tits didn't have really a thing. I hear. I like your question. Everyone hear his question? That's a very nice question. We're learning the height of the kapyrus, right? The height. The tits, this is not really the height of it. The height of the tits should be the thickness of it. We're learning from the width of the tits. It's two different measurements, two dimensions. Again, this is a kapyrus. What's I was saying? This is the kapyrus, yeah? We have width, we have length, and we have height.
Yeah.
Good. This is what we're learning, the height.
Yeah.
The tits,
Was high two.
no, it wasn't high 2 tvachim. It was wide 2 tvachim.
No, Eisen.
No, that's the length. That's the length. That's the length.
Okay.
Thickness should be comparable to height.
Why? The thickness is probably like
No. You're right. That's what it was. But he's asking, mehecha teisi, we should learn from the width of something. The kapyrus, it wasn't the width. It was the kaimasai. So we should learn from the kaimasai.
Especially when we said the only thing.
So that the Torah wrote explicitly. Yeah. I do hear the question. Okay, let's continue. Rav Huna Amar. Let's go last line. Hey Amid Aleph. Rav Huna Amar. So again, we have Makar 1a and Makar 1b. Rav Huna Amar Me'acha says Rav Huna knew.
No.
Yes.
When it says here roichav, it means the height. Look at Toys.
What does height mean? No. This is a language game. We're not arguing that this is how tall the tzitz was. The question is, this is the width of the tzitz, really. If you think about it, whenever you have to deal in 3 dimensions. Right, that's what I'm saying. We're having a language barrier.
Put it down on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Here.
It's on my head, okay? It's on my
Here,
head.
let's use.
Here we go.
I actually have a
It's
dollar
on
on
my
me.
head, okay?
Good. No, watch.
This is what we're talking about.
For stay. Watch.
Yeah.
This is length.
Yeah.
This is length.
Yeah.
It's the first time in my life I have a dollar on me. I have no clue. Oh, it's tzedakah. This is length. I stole it from the pushka. This is length. What's this?
Height.
It's not what it says. It says
And what's the thickness called?
Who's talking about thickness now?
I'm asking you a question.
Oh.
I'm building a clay.
Ovi.
Oivyav,
Yeah.
or you call it kaimasai. Whenever you're having 3 dimensions, this is the kapyrus.
About the height.
Nachon. That's because you already have the width.
Your assumption is that this is how
Right.
it sits is set.
The cover of
Mechatesi. That's what he's asking.
Especially when it says rachbai, it's referring.
Again, he's not asking if the tzitz was actually 2 fingers this way. We're agreeing to the picture and the detail of the tzitz. He's asking if we're equating, here's my papyrus, my cover of my aron. So I have a length, I have a width, and I have a height. We want to know the height of something. The height should be more comparable to the thickness of the tzitz, not to the width of the tzitz. If this is my tzitz from eisen to eisen on my forehead, so the thickness of it should be more comparable to the kaimasai, not the width of it.
No, it's the way the kli is being used.
Okay, then you just ask mechatesi. No, we're not. It says rachbai. It says rachbai. Meaning, and the word rachbai by the kapyrus.
Look at Toys.
Yeah. Right. No, that's
We're talking now about thickness.
No,
We're talking about height, right?
Avada.
So we see
It
that
calls
it's
it the
being used for
rachbai.
that.
Yeah.
Why are we using that word?
That's what he's asking.
The pashtus is that the
No,
word is being
Avada,
used.
that's what it is. Again, we're not arguing if this is what the thing was. He's asking for the whole makar is that we're learning from here because it's explicit. It's not explicit, and it's explicit the wrong dimension. That's his kasha. Okay.
Trying to learn rachbai from kaimasai. That's how it's listed as.
Okay, so
You're
I
saying
hear on the why the word is being used. But this is it also that we're talking when we say roichav by the tzitz, we mean the height. That's what he's talking about, right?
Again. He's not arguing if that's the way that it is. He's saying if the whole reason learning from this item is because it's explicit, it would be much better if the same word by kapyrus was used by the tzitz. That's what he's asking. Versteh? If the whole point is that it's mefurash, it's not mefurash.
If you're using kamasai by the comparison.
But you're right. One is a box and one is a garment. So they use different words. Versteh? No, we're not.
They're not using.
No, they use different words in relation to different areas.
Assuming that rachbai on on the tzitz is kaimatzah.
It is.
No, it's wrong. You're wrong. No, that's not the var. The var is that everything we have to measure
Right.
dimensions the way each thing is supposed to be set.
Correct.
Because you wear it this way.
That's
doesn't
the
make
reason
it
is.
kaimatzah. That just makes it that this is the way you wear something that.
Can I ask you a question? Let's say Bonagid, the tzitz was really 1 finger thick. It was a thick piece of metal. Let's pretend. Which wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. Let's say it was. If I had to compare the kapairas, would I ask that it's 1 finger thick, like the thickness of the tzitz, or would I ask it's 2 fingers thick, like the width of the tzitz? Which one would make more sense to you? That's his kasha. You understand the kasha?
Again, what's the width?
This way. The thickness. If this had to be if it had to be 1 finger thick, a big fat thick piece of gold, by 2 fingers wide. Yeah, that's at my tzitz. Okay. Now I have 3 measurements of the tzitz. I have 1 is ear to ear. Let's call it, I don't know, 20 inches. I have no clue if that makes any sense. And number 2 fingers tall, and I have 3 1 finger wide.
Okay.
Which one would you compare the kapairas to?
The tall, 2 fingers.
No, so that's his kasha. That makes no sense. Because by the kapairas, it goes 1, 2, 3. It's good. It's just water. It's not good. It's on the thing. Can I have a tissue? By the kapairas, it's good. It didn't go in. By the kapairas, I have length. Thank you. I have length, width, and height. Which one are we going to equate it to? Right.
About the height, no?
So which one is that equated to over here?
The height.
Which is this way. This is the height. The thickness
No,
is the
so
height.
that's what I'm saying. We look at how we use
Good. So,
it.
that is the kasha. Good. Mitkin weiter. You don't say you're wrong.
We're going to finish the Chazarah.
It's beautiful. Ravuna Amar Meyacha. Zakil Ravuna. Al Bnei HaKavir Keidma. Said Ravuna again. We have Makar 1A, Makar 1B. Now we have Makar number 2. Ravuna. We learn Al Bnei HaKavir, the face of the Kaviris. Vein upon him, and the face is never a pacha is made to tafach. Frakti Gemara, how do you know? Vein Mavabe Tavar Yoichlin, the big fat bird, which is more than a tafach. The second time we have tafas, we're really tafasta. Tafas more tafast. Vein Makapi the tziport, a very small bird. The zuta tuva. Amar Ravach Yaakov Ravuna Bnei Gomer. So this is really where Ravuna learns it from. Because there is shava, not stam Pnei. Tivach Bnei Kars. Tivach smells meis Pnei. It's a gav. Frakti Gemara. If you're learning off the word Pnei from there, shav Pnei will be part of Shalom Ma'ila. Mulach and the time number 3. So we think that the kruvim are smaller. And Rav Huna, who learns so now we have makar number 2. Penei, from which penei of the keruvim or Yitzchak. Very good. Umay keruv asks the Gemara. Amravua karavia. She came up with currently new karavia child. Amrli Rabbi Elmiata the chsiv bnei echad bnei keruv bnei hashinim bnei adam. Hayni keruv haynu adam. It sounds like it's the same thing, and it sounds like an adam. Apiravia is small and large adam. Period. So now we have 2 makaris. Frakti Gemara. How do you know it's 10 tefachim excluding the schach? Meaning, how do you know that its interior size is 10 tefachim? Maybe it's really smaller. We're learning from the base of Midrash. So 30 amos is tall. We say how tall was a 1/3. The third, he was standing. Mishkan Nami Kruvim Shazabai, he named in. Mishkan Kamihavi, how tall was the Mishkan Azam, was the Sliv Azam, was Erich Karesh. Kamihavi, how many Tvachim is that? Now, Shit and Boshri, 60 Tvachim. Tell the Kamihavi, what's a third of 60? Yes, in Boshri, 20 Tvachim. So the Kruvim are at a height of 20 Tvachim. Dallas Ardar and take off 10 for the Kabar and the Kabaires. Pashalu Asar, so you have 10 Tvachim of the Kruvim. Muksiv in the bus is very Kruvim, bars can find them all and their wings were spread above Sechem, covering over Schach, over their wings. Alakapayres, Kairachman Schach, the Torah uses the word Schach, Lamalam whenever it's above 10 Tefachim, covering an airspace of 10 Tefachim. Fracting how do you know it's an airspace of 10 Tefachim? How do you know the wings were up top of their heads? Maybe they're equal to their heads, therefore the airspace perhaps a little bit less than 10 Tefachim. Maybe their wings were very high. So now we know why it is the airspace of 10 Tefachim. We learn out because it's a third. The Kruvim are a third, and therefore the Beis HaMikdash is 60 Amos, 20 Amos. In the Beis Hamikdash, it's 10 Amos, which is 60 Tfachim, which is 20 Tfachim, minus 10 Tfachim of the Aron is 10 Tfachim.
So according to this, we're not learning it anymore, not from Pnei Pnei and not from...
Very good, very good. Naya Makar. Well, not really. Whoa, why is that not really accurate? Because you still needed to know that the Aron was 10 Tfachim. How do you know the Aron was 10 Tfachim? Only if you know how big the thickness of the Kapairos was. How do you know the thickness of the Kapairos?
We're not learning it from there.
We learned the Aron because you still need to know the Aron for 10 in order to learn this thing. Because it's 20 Tfachim minus 10. How do you know minus 10? So it's still building. Still needed. Says the Gemara, this whole that was Rameir Damar Kulam as you 6 Tfachim. Elder Rav Yehuda Damar Shal Binian Shal Shish Tfachim, but Shal Kalim was Chamisha Michael Meimar. Why? Aron the Kabaris Kamahavi and Am and a half times 5 is 7.5 plus 1 of the Kabaris is 8.5. Which now this Gemara, by the way, also needs the whole previous blot because we're still learning that the Kabaris was a tefach. How do we know the Kabaris was a tefach? Only the aforementioned blot. We still need our 2 Makairis. So our 1A, 1B, and our 2, all the Makairis are still necessary at the end of the day. Says the Gemara, but according to Rav Yehuda, what are you going to say? Our Makairis come have a lutamin apalga. It's 8.5. Pashtul chada srei apalga. So it should be 11.5. Because 20 minus 8.5 is 11.5. El Rav Yehuda. So now, according to Rav Yehuda, tear out the whole black Gemara. Hilchas agemiri la damar chibarashi Rav Shir chazin mechizit alacha leMoshe misinai. Givaldik. Shkoyach Hevra. You have another minute.